Hello, hello, hello. Don't mind me. I just finished a walk with Keaton. It's hot out. I have not gotten ready for the day. My hair looks like this. I am sweating. It's hot out today. But the whole time on my walk, I was just so excited. So excited thinking about the Future Self course. This is something that I've been teaching for 10 years. And for 10 years, I've been just like teaching it and then modifying it, teaching it, tweaking it, teaching it, tweaking it over and over and over and over, like taking the fluff out, the things that feel confusing to people. I've gotten really good at explaining in a way that's not confusing. And so it's like almost 10 years worth of work that I have put into is now in its own little course. So I am just so excited that it's finally here. So I decided on my walk that as soon as I got home, I would hop on and do a little run through and show you what the course looks like, what all you get in it. And if there's any questions, of course, make sure you reach out to me and we'll get those answered. So let me move my picture. Actually, let me just get rid of my picture because I have a feeling, depending on the page, my face will be in the way. All right, can I move this? Oh, look at me. Look at me figuring it out. Okay, so this is what it looks like, becoming your Calm AF future self. So you would hit start course. I'm not going to because I'm afraid it'll take me somewhere else. But here are the modules. You get this module, start here. The first lesson is me just telling you how to get the most out of the course. Like I said, I've been doing this a long time. I know what trips people up the most, and I know how to tell you how to avoid those obstacles. So that's what this first little piece is. So make sure you watch that if you go through the course. Then you get the Future Self Workbook. I don't think I can show it to you on this video, but it basically will go through all of the modules, all of the lessons, and gives you a workbook to correspond with the lesson. I don't know, it's like 70 pages or something. I think the best way to do it is to print the whole workbook out and get it bound at like Staples or wherever you do that nowadays. But obviously you can do it however you want. So then we get into the actual process of creating your future self life. And the first step is dream big. And listen, like I said, I have taken all of the fluff out. This is not a fluff section. This part where you actually let yourself dream big is actually like the prerequisite to doing your future self life, to creating it. So again, there's no fluff anywhere in here. This is important for you to get into this mindset of letting yourself want what you want. The second lesson in this module is to change the station. Basically, if you're in the car and you want to go somewhere and you want to listen to certain music, you're only going to hear that music if you are tuned into that station. So in this module, I will teach you how to tune into your future self station before you even start the trip. And this fun meditation, the Future Self movie, this is just where you get to sit back and observe a day in the life of your future self. You don't have to be coming up with anything. You're just going to be noticing what you notice, what your future self life looks like, what a typical day feels like, who you see in a typical day. What does your house look like? What are you doing for work? What do you see? What do you see around you? This is the Future Self movie. It's super fun. Then we move into step 2, the current self audit. So in the current self audit, this is where you are figuring out why you are where you are now, to see what of the things that you're doing now need to change and what things you're doing now you want to keep and maybe do more of. Because it's not just about like everything in your life has to change in order to become your future self. Actually, we kind of do it the other way here. We take the things that are already working and we add on to them so that the journey doesn't feel like you are just being tortured the entire time. So we'll talk about that in this first lesson, the current self audit. Then you're going to rate your buckets. I will introduce you to what those buckets are. Let's see if I can actually so in this lesson, you'll be introduced to the Calm AF buckets, which is basically a nice way to think about your life in categories. So your physical health, your mental health, your soul health, your romantic relationships, and so on. You're going to take all of these different categories or buckets. How do I get back? And you're going to rate them. And then in the next step, you're going to evaluate them. You're going to say, why did I give this bucket a 4? Why did I give this bucket an 8? It's going to give you all of the information, and these 2 lessons will give you all of the information you need to go ahead and move on to setting your future self goals. It's not this complicated process that you're used to. It's knowing where you are now, knowing where you want to be, how you got where you are. This will allow you to know what you want to set your future self goals. So once you have decided, here's the way I want to feel in each of these buckets, then we're going to do this fun guided meditation where you will be meeting your future self. You're going to be having a conversation. So everything you learned up here about the things that feel like obstacles that are in your way to getting to your future self, you are going to go into your future self mind, and you are going to learn what your future self thinks. You're going to learn how your future self behaves. You're going to learn about your future self habits in this meditation. This is also again, there is no fluff in here. This is incredibly important because if you want to start really taking steps towards becoming your future self, you have to be taking action from the mind of your future self, not your current or past self. So then we're going to go into step 4, which is the alignment bank. The best tool, my favorite tool I've ever created of all, I think, might be this alignment bank, because it's going to make not only this future self journey, but your entire life a gazillion times easier. I'm not even going to go into all of this because if I start talking more about the alignment bank, I will not stop. So you're just going to have to get it here. Watch these 2. This is my favorite. Basically, in a nutshell, an alignment bank is going to tell you how to reach your future self goals, what actions you actually need to take in order to become your future self, right? So everyone's always like, well, we can't just sit around and think about it. Nope. Here in the alignment bank, you're going to be figuring out how to get where you want to go. And then step 5 is to pick one thing. So we've got all these buckets. We've got all these buckets that we talked about earlier. They all have their own little feeling goal. And what you're going to do is you're going to narrow your focus and choose just one bucket to focus on. And I will tell you in this lesson how to pick that one bucket, that it's not as scary as you think. And then the last lesson in our 5-step process is to commit for 30 days. This commit to the bucket, not to commit to your future self. We are relentlessly committed to your future self, but we are going to commit for 30 days to one feeling goal at a time. And in here, I will tell you why that is not a scary thing, why that doesn't mean all of the other buckets are going to be neglected. That's not how it works. That is not how it works. So I will share that in this lesson. And then, everybody loves a good Finch pep talk. So we will end the entire course with this future self pep talk. How to go out there, how to do it, how to make sure that you never, ever, ever forget that you are in the process of becoming your future self again, how to stay aligned, how to get extra accountability. All of the things you need are right here in this future self pep talk. All right, so let me get my camera back on. That's it. I'm so excited. I can't wait to hear what people think as they start going through the course. My Calm AF Life members, they get this. It's totally included. Someone just mentioned, she was like, this is like an all-inclusive resort, Calm AF Life. And I was like, exactly. This is the place to be. What I make is always going to be in Calm AF Life. If you're not ready for that, or you don't want that right now, let's do this. Let's do this future self course together. I'm excited. I'm going to go get a fresh cup of coffee and send this off. See you soon.